This was the beginning of God's judgment on America. It began here today as these senators clapped their hands and rejoiced in America passing a law again in New York. It's going to happen all over the country. I pray that Ohio will resist this bill and fight it. But if they don't, but this is the beginning of God's judgment, I proclaim it again today. I use my prophetic tongue that the Lord has allowed me to speak with to warn the church that by this action today, America, you have welcomed God's wrath in extreme. And watch out what God's going to begin to do to bring the heart of this nation back to Him. But here's the catch. If you're a Christian, pray for yourself, pray for your family. In the Bible, God told the prophets one time not to pray for these people, but to pray for themselves, because they could not save anybody else but themselves and their families. In Sodom and Gomorrah, only Lot and his family needed to get out. Everybody else felt under the judgment of God. Today, as your leaders, Democrats and some Republicans stood out united to go against God, go against the founding fathers of this nation, who upheld biblical views and supported it fully. Our leaders now are celebrating gay people instead of empowering the church to shine the light of Christ to deliver these people. Your churches of men are dead with no power to set anybody free. They have become tombs with dead people who can no longer reflect God and His power. Where is God in these churches? Where is God's delivering power? Where's God anointing that breaks the yokes? Well, your leaders here are seen clapping and celebrating a new law that will allow sodomites, homosexuals. Again, God hates the sin. He loves the people, but He hates the sin. They must renounce that sin of homosexuality, turn away from it, or risk the deluge of God's wrath. And today, I heard in my spirit God say, shout it aloud to America. The judgment of God has begun upon you. Mark my words from this prophetic tongue. From today, America, your judgment has begun. Watch your leaders celebrate sin.
And let's listen in. Andrew Cuomo, I believe, is at the podium. He has not started to speak yet. He's just getting a lot of applause. Let's listen.
Thank you very much. Before we start, I want to recognize just some of the elected officials behind me. Senator Jim Alisi, Senator Tom Duane, Assemblyman Danny O'Donnell, Assemblywoman Deborah Glick, Assemblyman Matthew Titone, and Assemblyman Harry Bronson. I want to thank them for their support. And before I bring the governor up, I have to say this. This has been one of those amazing 6 months in this state's history. And look back at what this man has done as governor. We've had an on-time budget, no new taxes, the changes that he has put forth in the state. He has changed the lives of New Yorkers across New York State with what he's done, with his leadership, his ability to get people to come and make a decision. Culminating tonight, where now every New Yorker has the right to marry. And I think when you look at what he has done, and his partnership with the Senate, the Assembly, and all the advocates, it has been absolutely amazing. And this state is lucky to have Governor Cuomo as his governor. And I don't need a note to say this. I said this last week to him. Working with Governor Cuomo is like taking a painting class from Picasso. We're looking at what he has done, and this state is changing. And I can't imagine at any time in the history of this state that more work has been done in 6 months than we've seen now. And what the governor has said from the start, the governor said what he wanted to do when he ran for office. He wanted to bring back respect and decorum and collegiality. The partnership that he has fostered and built with the Senate and the Assembly, both sides of the aisle, people working together to change this state, has been absolutely amazing. It really has. And tonight, to be a witness to history in this state is just something I don't think we can ever duplicate. So please give welcome to the stage here, a man who I will say this, I say it in this room so many times. I am so proud to work alongside this man. Man, you trust him at his word. He says
They're proud to work alongside a man that passes gay bill and is celebrated. And this is exactly what's going to happen with the Antichrist. When he comes along, everybody will celebrate him. I'm not saying this guy is an Antichrist. I'm just saying the spirit of Antichrist is already flowing where people will celebrate evil instead of good.
First, give a big round of applause to Bob Duffy, who's just a great lieutenant governor, a great partner. I couldn't ask for more. I want to applaud the legislative leaders, Senator Dean Skelos and Assemblyman Sheldon Silver, who is observing the religious holiday this evening, Senator John Sampson, Assemblyman Brian Cole. They did extraordinary work. My colleagues who are here today, the Lieutenant Governor is exactly right. Past 6 months, we didn't work like we were Democrats and Republicans. We realized that first we were New Yorkers. We worked in a bipartisan way, and that made all the difference. And let's give the legislative leaders a round of applause. I also want to thank the people of the state of New York who were engaged in this session. We reached out to them through emails, through all sorts of forums all across the state. The advocacy organizations reached out to them, and they weighed in and they made a difference. Democracy works when the people speak, and the people spoke in volumes over these past few months, and this legislature responded this week to their calls. Bob is right. This was a period of historic progress on all fronts. When you look at what we accomplished this legislative session, the past 6 months, we really did what we said we were going to do. We laid out an agenda. We asked the people of this state to get involved. It was a comprehensive agenda. They got involved, and we made a difference. And whether it's the first property tax in the history of the state of New York, they were talking about it in the 70s. Massachusetts had a cap in the 80s. It was first proposed for New York in the mid-90s.
33, nays 29. Ayes 33, nays 29. Ayes 33, nays 29. Ayes 33, nays 29.
Ayes 33, nays 29. Which tells me that there was 29 people that believed in God and fought this thing. As there's 3 people out there who don't believe in God, who has brought all this wrath of God to New York. You have no one to blame but your leaders that you put in power to support bills that will call God's wrath upon yourselves. I will warn any Christian who lives in New York. I tell you at the top of my voice, if you're a Christian, you live in New York, please pray for yourself and pray for your family. And if God gives you a sign, then flee, because the wrath of God has been released. Flee. Flee to the wilderness, wherever you can run to. Save yourself. At God's sign, and God will send everybody who believes in Him in New York a sign. That's what He has told me, to tell you people in New York, if you're a Christian who believes in God, and if you're in San Francisco, you're in California, you're in all those states that have supported gay people, listen, and celebrate their movements. Even here in Ohio, they have gay parades on the streets, really a disgrace to God. If you're in these states, I tell you, at the sign of God, flee, and God will send each one of you a sign. Just like The Lord's family had an opportunity to flee. God's going to send you an opportunity to flee and to get out of the problem before God brings his judgment. There will be a sign sent to every Christian and every Christian sister, brother, or child, and old people. God's going to send you a sign. And when you hear that sign, and when you know in your spirit that God's warning us, come, flee, for destruction cometh, for the judgment of God cometh. They can clap now. You can clap now. Clap for sin. Celebrate it. But there's a time for rejoicing. But there's a time for sorrow and pain. And you'll regret this day, America. This was you voting for your destiny. And with this bill, other states will follow. The gay people will force the other states to follow. They will fight in the courts. And what will happen? This bill will be passed everywhere, in every state. And those will be bad days, sad days for America. I never hoped that I will see this day when people celebrate evil, when people clap for evil, they rejoice for evil.
I can have your attention.
And they're chanting USA, USA. America supports gay people and passes bills to support them.
Bill number
How you have fallen, America. Oh, how you have fallen from God.
Please, we have more business to continue. Senator Skelos.
Thank you, Mr. President.
At least there are some people, that will speak up. And we thank God for those that will speak up against these very things. Not everybody's speaking, but I thank God for those that will speak. I thank God for people like Pat Roberts, that will come out and speak and be very bold about these things. And I want to play for you a clip of what I think the leaders in the church should be. And I celebrate people like John Hagin and Pat Roberts and the many other men of God out there who come out, and uses the Bible to, encourage the body of Christ to continue to oppose the very evil things that continue to happen in this nation. Let's listen to Pat Roberts talk about this, very things that we are seeing now. It's good to have people out there who are still, being the voice of God.
Club, uniformly and overwhelmingly, the American people have rejected the concept of marriage between two women or two men. That's 31 states where it's been put to a vote. The voters, every one of those states said, no, we prefer traditional marriage between a man and a woman. But some politicians are pushing for it anyway, especially now in New York. Christy.
As you said, Pat, absolutely. The latest battleground is actually in New York. That legislature is close to passing it before their session ends next week. In fact, Heather Sells has the story.
New York has tried to pass a gay marriage bill for years, but this week it might actually happen. On Tuesday, a second Republican state senator said he'll support it, creating a 31-31 tie in the Senate.
These social votes are very difficult. Telling people how to live in their own personal lives is very difficult.
Yes, we are gay and we are straight, but we are one state because we are New York.
New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo strongly supported gay marriage in his campaign, and this year he's assembled an A-team of political strategists in Albany to fight for it. His powerful teammate, New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, is also hard at work lobbying GOP fence-sitters in the state Senate.
In this latest battle, gay rights advocates are counting on Governor Cuomo and Mayor Bloomberg to get the job done. But traditional marriage supporters say they have a multi-ethnic network of churches and the people they represent.
It'll recontextualize and reboot culture, healthcare will change,
They'll force the gay curriculum will come into the schools in a greater measure.
Bishop Joseph Matera leads Brooklyn's Resurrection Church and the political advocacy group Christ Covenant Coalition. He says networks of clergy around the state are banding together to combat this year's push for gay marriage. New York's Assembly has already approved it, so the focus now is on a small group of undecided senators.
We think that the battle has to be won this time by phone calls and emails.
And California's marriage law is in the courts. A federal judge has upheld a ruling that struck down the ban on same-sex marriage in California. Voters in that state passed Proposition 8, which said marriage is only between one man and one woman. But a California judge struck it down. Prop 8 supporters challenged his ruling because they say the judge had a conflict of interest. California Judge Vaughn Walker has admitted that he's gay and living in a long-term relationship with another man. Prop 8 groups say that could make him a direct beneficiary of striking down the law. But the federal judge disagreed. The ruling does not settle the broader legal fight over Proposition 8. And the federal marriage law is also under attack in court. That law is called DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, and it also bans same-sex marriage. The country's largest consumer bankruptcy court has declared it unconstitutional. Legal experts don't expect this case to go to the Supreme Court, but they think that's where DOMA and the issue of marriage will ultimately be decided. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Thank you, Heather. This is a sad day for America. We want everybody to have civil rights, and have rights. There's nothing about taking rights away from people. But marriage is a sacred covenant, has been blessed by God between a man and a woman for the procreation of children. And every time, in every society throughout history, where the society has turned to accepting and advocating open homosexuality, that society has fallen. And the same thing is going to happen here in America. It's just one more slope, time down the slippery slope. It's a shame, but it will destroy our nation. It's a question of how soon. I mean, it would be 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. It'll happen sooner or later. When you destroy marriage, marriage is the foundational block of our society. And when marriage, traditional marriage is destroyed, where a man and a woman come in union together to raise children, when that union is broken, and when the laws are mitigated against it, then what you're going to find out is that society has no glue when it falls apart. It's going to happen, and it's happening more and more. We'll find a disintegration of this society. And I suppose I won't live long enough to see it happen, but nevertheless, your children and my children and grandchildren will. Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories in the CBN Newsroom.